Hey there, West Michigan. Meteorologist Will Haney here. I'm not sure if I started and stopped, but hopefully everyone is having a great Saturday night, despite the kind of crazy weather that's out there right now. I'm going to give this just a few seconds and we will get the conversation started. I'm also going to pull up a couple things that we can use for our little weather discussion tonight, and let me know what you're seeing out there, especially if you're up in like Allegan right now, Allegan County, Berry counties. Would love to know what you're dealing with right now, because there's some pretty significant lake effect snow coming down up there, which we will touch on here momentarily. I'm going to have the MyDrive map here in just a moment, giving us some looks at different roadways across West Michigan. I'm going to give this just a few more seconds, get some folks in the room. I'm also going to share this to my page really quickly. But so much to talk about tonight and really into the next several days. So just give me 1 second. Okay. So first things first, the system that drove our snowfall Friday into Saturday, it's out of here. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this chair. But behind it, we're now going to be dealing with some much colder air. And also with that comes some lake effect snow. I want to get right into it here momentarily. Good evening, Shannon. What's up, Shannon? Gwen. Hello, Gwen. Recognizing some familiar names here. Ben saying that roads were quite dicey. One of my favorite words, Ben. All across Southwest Michigan today. This is true. I feel like they improved a little bit during the afternoon, but it was kind of intermittent, right? We were in and out of some lake effect snow showers. So they might kind of clear up a little bit, and then, you know, you get a decent burst of snow that went through. And it didn't take much, obviously, for some drivers to have some headaches out there today. But things really have escalated since about dark tonight, which we'll get to here in just a second. So just the nuts and bolts. So we have winter storm warnings that were in effect. These have been now extended for the area in pink through noon Sunday. That's for additional accumulations per the National Weather Service of 3 to 7 inches, with some isolated totals higher than that. That's their wording. We'll get to our forecast here in just a second. So the winter weather advisory in Berrien and Cass counties was also extended. That's for accumulations up to about 6 inches there. That goes through noon tomorrow. The only exception through that noon tomorrow rule is Branch and St. Joseph counties. That technically is going to expire at 4 a.m. Sunday because we're just not expecting really the more intense lake effect down there after another few hours. Yeah, Cass is saying Battle Creek is cold and nasty. It's a good way to put it. Molly, hello. Good evening, Diana in Otsego. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, Molly, it might be kind of bad in the morning. We'll get to kind of who I think will see some pretty bad driving conditions momentarily. All right, so as we look at live Doppler radar here, this is a classic lake effect signature. So what happens is we have this really cold air that's coming in behind this low that was driving our weather the last 24 hours. The wind has become more westerly, so that tends to focus that lake effect typically across portions of like Allegan, Ottawa, Kent, Berry counties. Allegan and Berry counties in this sort of a wind setup usually get some really impressive snowfall. So you're already starting to see that. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little tricky for me to zoom in for you guys. I might try it. This could go miserably wrong, so bear with me. I'm actually doing things a little bit differently this evening because I accidentally left my work laptop at home. So let me see if this is going to work. I don't believe it's going to. I was going to see if I'm on my, I'm actually controlling our weather graphics with my phone, but I was going to see if I could zoom in, but I don't think it's going to let me, unfortunately. I'll try one more time. Yeah. Okay, so what I will say is that area of darker blue that you're seeing right smack dab on top of Allegan right now, you can make it out pretty clearly. There's a more dominant lake effect band that probably stretches from, say, near Saugatuck, Fenville, out into, say, like the Yankee Springs area. Right now getting some really intense snowfall, probably out towards a little south of Hastings, but Hastings are certainly in some of that snowfall. So that's the dominant band right now. There's also a little bit more intense lake effect a little farther north through portions of Ottawa County, in Kent County as well. We saw that more intense lake effect snow right around dinner time and probably 6, 7 o'clock. That was in Kalamazoo County. It has since lifted a little farther north. And it's really that area of interest for some of our higher totals here in the next several days. So as we look at current temperatures too, we've come down dramatically. So now we're in the teens, 17 at this hour in Kalamazoo, 14 at this hour in Three Rivers. One thing that's interesting to note, which I'll touch on, is some of the coldest temps are actually in the southern portion of our viewing area. And what's super weird, or a little bit peculiar compared to sometimes our setups, it looks like Gun Lake. Good evening, Dan. Dan, I bet you guys are getting it right now. Gun Lake is like right in the thick of it, I would think, right now. Cooper Township, roads horrible. Good to know, Katie. Yeah, those roads we'll get to here in just a second. But what I was going to say, what's interesting is we actually will have a southwest wind tonight and into tomorrow. And typically we associate, I have to talk about this in like school talks and stuff, right? So southwest wind, especially in the summer, we typically associate with a warmer air mass, but that's not the case right now. What's crazy is the Arctic air is really prevalent to our west, and Lake Michigan actually kind of acts as a shield. So with the west winds coming across warmer Lake Michigan, it literally acts as like a shield to protect us from the true extreme cold. But what's happening here is some of that air is down to our south and southwest. So a southwest wind is kind of curling some of that cold air around Lake Michigan, the southern shores of Lake Michigan, and it's clipping kind of the southern portion of our viewing area. Just sort of interesting to note that. And you can see it really well here. So as we look at future temperatures, this is essentially current. We'll go into the overnight and watch this bitter cold that's going to spread in across our area. And specifically, look at the difference, right? Grand Rapids, 14. Tomorrow at about 5 o'clock, 9 degrees in Kalamazoo. And then South Bend at 1. So again, that's that influence of Lake Michigan. It acts as a shield this time of year from that really extreme cold somewhat, right? But it can only protect us so much. But you can see, obviously, on our side of the lake versus Milwaukee or Chicago, it's going to make a big difference. We will be looking at a little bit more cold air even to start next week. More than likely, we'll see more single-digit lows and some sub-zero low temperatures likely to start next work week. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to do a couple things here. I'm hoping I can get this to work. I'm battling with a little phone trying to remote access our weather graphics. So it's a little tricky because I'm using my fingers to kind of click through some things. I do want to show you this really quickly. We had 10 inches in Alamo Township, and that was earlier today. 10 inches in Alamo Township, 9 or so in Oshmo. This was as of about 6 o'clock. We probably added on to these totals, but now we're shifting more into lake effect. As of about 6 o'clock, we had a 7-inch storm total in Kalamazoo at News Channel 3. It was closer to about 5 inches in Battle Creek. Again, there's those alerts that are going to continue. I'm going to zoom through here a little bit to catch up to where I want to be. But yeah, that lake effect snow right now, very heavy in Allegan County, Ottawa County, Kent County. And we're seeing a little bit of some light snow farther south even as well, but it's just not quite as intense. Those areas of darker blue that you're seeing through Allegan County, Berry County, those are likely snowfall rates of about 1 inch to possibly even 1.5 inches, 2 inches per hour. So that's really intense snow. That's where we're most likely going to have some whiteout conditions ongoing right now. The wind really peaked this morning. I don't think we're going to see as strong of wind gusts tonight through tomorrow, but we still could have some gusts upwards of a 30 to 35, possibly pushing 40 miles an hour. So you imagine that really intense lake effect then blowing around, blowing sideways, especially in more rural country roads, for example, just whips around really easily. And so that's what leads to really the poor visibility tonight. As we take a little bit of a closer look, there you go. You can see it stretches from up towards like Fenville, Saugatuck, out towards Barry and Barry County, right across M43, pretty treacherous, I'm sure, right now between Barry and Hastings. And also across 131 right now, there's probably a pretty bad stretch that would be up towards, I'm trying to think, that would be like probably like Wayland, for example, Martin area, probably getting pretty hit right now with some pretty significant snow. All right. Let me get to some other things that I wanted to touch on. This was a little bit earlier this evening, I-94 at the Westnedge exit. It might be looking a little bit better here now. I'll show you that here in just a second. This was 131 near Wayland, which was in the thick of that lake effect snow we were just showing you. But again, those were a few hours ago. I want to jump away from that. This is Lake Macatawa Live, Collin Park. It's continuing to come down. Let me show you guys really quickly. I'm going to show you the MyDrive map, and we can click through some of that stuff because that's pretty useful. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, my face is getting up close and personal with this camera. So MyDrive map, super great resource. Hopefully you've used it before. If you never have, it's a great tool. You can toggle on road cameras, plow cameras. We will show both. And let's see how it's looking. So 94 was looking pretty bad a little bit ago. Looks still not great, but a little bit better than it was, I would say, at 6, but still not too great. It also looks like that plow, I'm spitballing here, but it looks like that could be maybe some blue lights off in the distance. Hard to say for sure. I'll turn on incidents to see if there's any crashes or anything being reported as well. So yeah, it looks like moderate speeds. Let's see. I can turn on the speeds. Yeah, like medium speeds, which is what you want to see. And it looks like I-94 at Ninth Street is looking a little bit better than it was earlier because that lake effect has lifted a little bit farther north, at least the more significant stuff. That is, it looks like 94 near the 131 interchange. That does not look good. That could be one of the on-ramps, though. It's hard to say. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's really tiny. My apologies. I wish I could. I don't think I can make this. Yeah, that's one feature I wish was that their cameras were a little bit bigger when I pulled that up. But hopefully you guys are making that out at least a little bit, or you can get a kind of tiny little glimpse. But yeah, that's not looking good either. 131 interchange. I want to see if I can catch a plow maybe a little bit farther north through portions of Allegan County, because that's where the most intense lake effect is right now. Wow, yeah. So you can't really even make out the pavement that well. That looks like blowing, drifting snow galore. Let's see this one, maybe a little bit better. So this plow up towards Wayland, not far from the Hopkins exit. That's 131 and M179. That's probably pretty close to that really intense lake effect band. So anyways, it's a really great tool that we have here, and you can check this out for yourself. Just go to MDOT's website and search for their MyDrive map. But yeah, this is really useful for me as well to just kind of gauge where some of the worst conditions are right now. I mean, I would guess, it's a Saturday night. Fortunately, I don't think a lot of people are out on the roads right now, or at least versus like, say, a Friday, maybe. Let's see, Snow Buddy's Business. So MDOT, they name all their plows every year, so you can actually read the names of the plow. They're all kind of funny. Snow Buddy's Business is along M37. That is in Berry County. I'm trying to get a glimpse if there's anything. Yeah, that's not good. So it's just pretty treacherous out there. That's M79. That's a little southeast of Hastings. So I know I'm zooming all over the map. I also wanted to check in on this, the Consumers Energy Power Outage map. Of course, now you guys can't see it. But 35,000 Consumers Energy customers are without power still. I think it peaked earlier today at about 65,000. So they've made pretty good progress today, even despite these brutal conditions that they're facing. But I think that Collin Park camera is pretty telling of kind of what we're expecting. I want to get into accumulations. A lot of that, I'm sure if you've been asking, I've been rambling, I'm sorry. But first, let's look at hour by hour, just really quickly, show you the lake effect that's going to continue late tonight into the overnight. First half of tomorrow, mainly west of US 131, and then eventually kind of, I think, becoming a little bit more scattered into the afternoon, although we'll still have some in and out lake effect snow showers, similar to what we had today. The coverage of lake effect, though, will start to wind down somewhat, hopefully late Sunday into Monday. We could see some additional accumulations by Sunday afternoon into Monday, but I think it's going to be a lot less significant than what I'm about to show you. So really quickly, I want to go to no. Hopefully I can get this. Now I'm scared because it didn't advance my graphic. Let's see. Come on, man. Remember, I'm using a phone to control our weather graphics. And of course, the one graphic I want to get to, it locked me out for some reason. So I might actually run back there. I'll be right back if this doesn't work within 30 seconds, because the big thing I want to show you guys is the snowfall forecast, but I have a backup plan. Hold on. Why is this not working? Technology. All right. So I'm going to show you a different way. Watch this. Let me go through a different way to do this. I just posted an article on our website, and if you want just a condensed version of everything we're expecting in the next 24 hours, check this out. It's on our website right now. I'll take this image full, and then we're going to click through, and I'll show you some of the graphics here. So you can go again on our website and show this. I don't know why it's taking so long. Hopefully I'm not lagging. So those are those alerts I was telling about. I also wanted to just relay there's a wind chill advisory from midnight until 1 o'clock tomorrow for wind chills as cold as -25 for Sunday, which is just crazy. And it's going to get even colder, I think, into Monday. All right, so here's everything I wanted to show you. This is a very convoluted way to get there. I'm sorry. I'm very rambly. But as much as 3 to 6 additional inches of snowfall in that area of blue. Notice how it turns to purple across portions of Allegan, southern Ottawa, southern Kent, southern Ionia, the northern half of Barrie County, including Hastings, all the way out almost to Lansing in an area of 6 to 9 inches of additional snow. This is not snow that we've already seen, essentially. This is snow as of a few hours ago through noon tomorrow. So this does not include the snow that we've already picked up from Friday night into Saturday, if that makes sense. So this is just a look at additional snow. Robin is saying we're getting hit hard in Allegan, Swan Lake area. I bet Robin Nowakowski, one of my favorite weather watchers and bird watchers, Robin. Are we out of the warnings now? Tanya, hopefully I answered that, but we are not. It depends on where you're at. Kalamazoo County, Allegan County, Van Buren County, Barrie County, very much in the winter storm warning. If you're in St. Joseph or Branch counties, you're under an advisory now, and it will expire at 4 a.m. Calhoun County is under an advisory that's going to expire at noon tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at as far as snowfall. It's hard. Michelle, I don't really know. Michelle asked, do I think there will be school closings this week? So what I will say, you guys, is we are looking at additional snowfall almost every single day. I just don't think it's going to be quite as significant as the system that we just saw or the lake effect that we're going to see tonight. Sometimes lake effect can kind of surprise you, though, and it'll just keep rearing its somewhat ugly head. But I think there could be a little bit of an uptick in snow Monday night into Tuesday. But accumulations with that don't look quite as significant as what we're seeing now. I think there will be also possibly another secondary uptick on Wednesday, and then possibly another system Friday into Saturday of next week. So they're not as strong or put together systems as what we just had Friday into Saturday, but still strong enough where I think we could see just an uptick in that snowfall coverage and activity. So just something we're kind of watching for. I think later this week is pretty much daily snow chances and some just brutal cold. I can show you guys in a second the forecast, and let me try to do that here in just a second. So this is a look again at how much snow we saw a little bit earlier. This is how much snow is going to come down. Once I get this pulled up, we'll see if this works. I'm trying to reset some stuff here. Let me read some comments while we wait. But yeah, to answer your question, Michelle, sorry. Do we think we'll have school closings this week? I'm honestly more concerned about the cold on Monday, not necessarily for snowfall. I would be more worried about the bitter cold, but I don't know what different schools' thresholds are. It's kind of hard to say specifically because I just don't know what one district versus the next, their threshold for like wind chills are. But we are talking about some wind chills as cold as probably 20 to 25 below with temperatures sub-zero to start Monday morning, likely around -5 to 0 degrees or so early Monday. And that's an air temperature with wind chills well below that. So that, of course, is something that I think warrants extra attention. I don't know if they would close because of that. I don't know what their thresholds are again. But by the way, this is going to be some of the coldest air on Monday specifically, for an afternoon high on Monday of 7 degrees. The last time we saw an afternoon colder than that was all the way back on January 31st, 2019. A lot of you remember that polar vortex winter. That was it. So that was the year we saw that polar vortex, and it was just brutally cold. But again, if you want to read through some of what I'm talking about, you can go to our website. If you want to just jump in, that has all the information you need. What I do want to pull up, since my weather graphics have frozen up on me, is our website and the forecast. So bear with me. I'm going to make this screen go away for a second, and then I'll bring it back with the forecast from our website. Because unfortunately, it's not going to let me show the 7-day really quick. My computer graphics locked up. I was trying to do too much. All right. So if you look up top here, this is our website, our weather page, and you can see, so Sunday, highs in the low teens. We're going to go sub-zero early Sunday morning, and we'll likely see some more slightly below zero low temperatures into Monday, Tuesday. And look at those. Those are some single-digit high temperatures. And the other factor here is we're going to stay pretty breezy these next couple days. So the wind chill is probably going to drop below zero if it's not already. There's a good chance it is already. It's going to probably stay below zero until at least Wednesday, and that's maybe optimistic. We're likely to stay below freezing through likely early to mid next week. So that's going to probably cause a lot of ice to form on a lot of our inland lakes, possibly Lake Michigan as well. I think it's probably likely that we'll see at least a minimal ice shelf form in the next couple of days, especially given the high wind and waves. It's going to lead to a lot of freezing spray, a lot of waves crashing the shoreline, and a lot of those structures as well. A lot of our lighthouses, I think, will be probably shrouded in ice here in a couple of days, just because of the strong wave action and the bitter cold temperatures. This is the perfect setup for that, because you get these big waves crashing the pier, and all that spray is just going to be freezing very rapidly because of the sort of Arctic air that we're talking about. So that's pretty much it. It is 15 right now in Kalamazoo. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. I do have some other stuff I got to get to. I'm just reading through. Chilly Willy, thanks, Corey. No lake effect snow in Holland now, Sheila. Huh, that's interesting, Sheila. It was looking like it was coming down on Lake Makatawa. It's probably not quite as intense, but maybe it maybe is letting up temporarily. The more significant lake effect snow is immediately south of Holland, but I expect that band to kind of continue to lift a little bit farther north later tonight. Yeah, Martin right now. Amber Louise in Martin. She says it's coming down good. You are right in the thick of it. You're in that more intense band. AJ, whatever you said is helpful. I'm glad it was. Starting to get cold in Carrasco. All right. Yankee Springs. Yeah, Dan Miller. Thanks for that. Dan's saying it's snowing very heavily in Yankee Springs, which is, that's right in that main band right now. All right, Brian, you rock. Thank you. Yeah, ice. I mean, if you're an ice fisherman, you've been kind of gypped out of a season so far and last year. So I have a feeling this forecast is going to make a lot of ice fishermen and women very happy these next couple days. So this is good news for a lot. And honestly, our skiers as well. We have had such a brutally just abysmal year for winter sports enthusiasts. So that is the upside. We're going to be cruising here into winter at least the next couple of weeks. So it's good news for those of you that have been just yearning to get out and maybe do some ice fishing or some skiing. David, that's a good. David asked earlier this evening, I was seeing some data that was saying it was the heaviest bands may set up in northern Ottawa and Kent. Has that shifted south slightly? David, it's not out of the question that we could see it up there. You were probably looking at the Her. The Her to me was a little bit of an outlier. I think it's going to be a little closer to I-96, possibly immediately south of there. But there, admittedly, there is some uncertainty with this. I think that area of 6 to 9 that I was showing a little bit earlier, somewhere within that, there could be a very narrow strip of like maybe even up to about a foot of snowfall. But exactly where that sets up is probably somewhere in that purple that I was showing a little bit earlier, but it's hard to say like exactly where. So I hope that's kind of helpful, but I don't think it'll be maybe necessarily northern Ottawa, northern Kent. I think it would be more southern Ottawa, southern Kent. So I hope that helps you out if you're still watching. 3 to 6 for us tomorrow. For Kalamazoo, Rocky, I have us in the 3 to 6. We'll see, because I think we probably already picked up maybe another inch or two. I got to go measure since 6 o'clock because we were in a pretty good band there for a little bit. Yeah, it does depend on wind chill for closings, Tanya. Yeah, for Monday morning. See, Jacob is a winter fan. He said bring on the cold weather. All righty. Well, I gotta run, you guys. I appreciate all of you. Stay safe out there. Again, there's some pretty treacherous road conditions and very near whiteout conditions across portions of Allegan and Barrie counties, especially right now. So if you don't have to be out in this weather, whenever there's a winter storm warning, it means there's high confidence in some pretty significant travel impacts. So just hunker down a little bit longer, and hopefully we'll see some improvement throughout the afternoon and evening tomorrow. We'll still have a little bit of snow. It'll still be brutally cold, but the most intense lake effect is really tonight through early tomorrow morning. So we'll keep you updated. We'll be on the ARC at 10 and then 11 on News Channel 3. So we'll keep you updated there on air and online. And to everyone that's still watching, thank you so much. Really appreciate all of you, and have a safe night.